Lucas, deploy the Raven. Andrews, make sure you have Overwatch on lockdown.
Raven ready for deployment. I also have SATCOM up, Gunny.
Data, this is Hateful Actual. We have Raven deployed and are awaiting target.
Gunny, we have contacts. Have them mics out.
Vendetta, we have target. We'll make contact after we complete the assault. Doc, get the laser up there and start the heating process as soon as you see headlines. Make sure to only cause the vehicle to overheat.
Roger that.
Roger. 4 passengers. 3 in uniform.
Clear shot. Click twice, but I'm clear to engage. Smoked 1. 2 is in the move to investigate. Two is down. Eyes on the driver.
Doc. A driver.
Vendetta, required target. 842, we are inbound. We have contact. We're coming in hot. Have overwatch. Vendetta, this is Hateful, come in. Vendetta, this is Hateful, come in.
Lucas, what's going on?
Gunny, I'm having a little trouble acquiring a sat fix, but I should have it up in a few minutes.
Make it happen. Everything is good with Travis Harrison.
You got it, Gunny.
Son, you're gonna have one hell of a headache. I had to get you out of there quickly in case any security forces showed up. What's your name, son? How long you been held at camp?
Hey, John. What camp? Who are you?
Son, you've been held in a prison camp. These camps are from the days of the Old Republic.
I'm a farmer. Mother and father. And his father. What happened to those officers that were with me?
Gunny, I got higher in the line for you.
Good. Understood. We'll complete the mission. We'll rendezvous in South Padre with the Resistance. And they will evac us through the USS Los Angeles in 4 days.
Correct. Good luck.
Ah! Look, what is going on here? I am a farmer. I have nothing to do with this conflict or with this fight.
Son, you are more part of this than you could even imagine.
I just want to get back to my life. You must be crazy. What about those officers? What did you do to them?
Those officers are dead. We're looking out for you. I'm gonna tell you it's gonna come as a huge shock to you.
Hey boss, we're at each other safe. You should be there. He should too. Hey buddy, it's a safe. You know what that is, right? Yeah. Wow. Well, it's not a typical safe. The person who locked that safe actually used a different kind of combination. Combination can only be unlocked with a descendant of person.
Doc is getting at is that your DNA, stuff that makes you, you. In this case, your DNA is the key. DNA is passed down from your ancestors, or your grandparents, to your mother or your father, to you.
Have y'all lost your mind? I can't possibly begin to believe any of this. How can stuff in my blood open a lock?
Doc, go ahead and open the safe.
If you are who we think you are, you're about to see something the government's behind for a long time. Ready for this? It's unlocked.
Doc, you make sure and send that info up. Give me the room. Mr. Jones and I need to have a conversation. You ready for a very long and complicated story, Mr. Jones? The reason why your DNA opened that safe is your ancestor used his DNA to lock it. You say your name is A. Johns. What was your father's name?
My father's name was A. Johns as well, but what does that have to do with anything? He was a farmer on the commune as well as his father.
You have his name tattooed on his arm as well? Was that number 06?
Yeah. And yes, it was. It was A. Johns 06. Why?
Well, A. Johns is not what A. Jones means. I live in a commune. You're named after your first ancestor by the name of A. Jones. First name, that of your ancestor, was Alex. Jones is your family name. You live in what's called a generational prison camp. Your ancestor was A. Jones the first. His son became A. Jones the second. So
That's a
on.
lie. We've had this farm in our family for over 6 generations, since our ancestors even settled this land.
Look at these. What does your commune teach you about your history? This used to be the state of Texas, country of the United States of America.
What are you talking about, America? Do you mean the Americans who tried to invade our homes and kill our children? Yeah, alright. They taught us about how they used bombs to make the lands to the north completely unlivable, wiping out hundreds of thousands of people. And our food supply. That is why the government is taking care of us.
Alex,
Don't call me that.
that is propaganda. It is what your ancestor was trying to expose. See this? This is what the USA was founded on 400 years ago. It's called the Constitution, and it was the guiding vision for this world. I mean, right here is the proof that what your government is doing is wrong. And they teach you how to read. Read it for yourself. First, let me read you something. We the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish and ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessing of liberty, to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. This is who we were. Who your ancestors used as influence to protect.
We have all that. We do. It's when rebels like you tried to come in and steal our food, kill our children. That is when the government saves us. They feed us. They allow us to work the land so that we can provide for our children. They make sure that we are healthy enough to work the fields. They provide us medication when we need it.
Bro, that is not freedom. It's slavery. Can you speak out against the state? Can you speak out against the
But
rules?
why would we want to? The rules are there to protect us.
First Amendment of the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or of the peoples to peaceably assemble, to petition the government for redress of grievances. It means that people can make a change. It means that they can say what the government is doing is wrong. You said you rely on the state to protect you from people like me from coming to kill your kids. Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Our founders believed it was our responsibility to protect ourselves from each other, from our government, or foreign invaders. Those men who you're with were not Americans. They were UN security forces. These are just some of the freedoms that you've lost over the years.
So how does this affect me? I'm a simple farmer. My ancestors may have believed in this, but I'm happy with my life.
Do you believe that your children deserve a first name, not some number? Do you believe that you should be able to learn more? Does it make you mad that people eat the food that you grew and they don't work? I mean, they live in huge homes where half your fellow farmers could live. If you try to leave, they would shoot you dead. Yeah, I know about recycling. Forced recycling.
It's not forced. It's our choice. My father chose to do it because it would better the community.
It did it? Did you see a benefit? Better crops, better meats, healthier herds?
It all takes time. Meats.
Yeah, meats. When you slaughter your cows or your pigs, you eat the meats.
No. We slaughter the animals to recycle them, much like we do ourselves. It's for the better interest of the collective.
I taught you how to read in your class. Look at the dates. This stuff isn't made up.
Yes, I can read. But why should I believe this? Why should I believe anything that you tell me?
Because I'm done talking. I'll let the documents speak for themselves. If you don't believe it by morning, you're free to go about your life. Look, man, I know there's a lot in there to take in. You have a brain, but more so you have a heart. Let it be the decider.
So what do you think, is gonna come around?
Hell, Doc, if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be so stressed. Yeah. Andrews. Have the boys go down to 25%, get gear check. Let's rack the frack out.
Sleep, Mr. Jones?
No. Let me ask you something. Why they call you Doc? You seem more like a killer than you do a healer.
Well, I'm a corpsman. And in some way, you're kind of right. My job is to heal, but part of my job requires me to use my weapon to protect those I'm in charge of caring for.
Why even do it, though? I mean, why not do something safer, like be a farmer?
Until we fix this country, there's no guarantee to safety. So, I had this dream, the old republic, back when people had the right to demand change, the right to freedom. I feel like I have to do anything I can to bring that back.
So, those articles that Gunny gave to me, do you believe everything in them? I mean, it seems a little over the top, don't you think?
The articles that Gunny gave you play a big role in what we're fighting for. The documents that your ancestors put in that safe should have woken people up way before it got this bad. I've heard archived tapes, radio broadcasts, clear warnings of the world we live in today. But back in 2017, people were just too busy with their lives.
Well, what does anybody expect me to do? I mean, I'm a farmer, I'm not a revolutionary.
The founders of this country said, we are simple people. They were merchants, farmers, and fishermen. Said no to oppression and tyranny. They stood up against the biggest navy and army of their period, and they won. That is the act that created this country, all done by common citizens.
Chow's ready, fellas. Let's eat.
Are you ready for some bacon and egg?
Bacon and what? So, you're telling me that my ancestor believed that this all started around the 1960s, and that no one believed it?
Exactly. He believed, and you saw the documents, that large, unregulated multinational banks and groups of extremely wealthy people were behind undermining the American system. In his eyes, the UN and globalism was a tool to do it. Yeah, it took them decades, but they were more than happy to wait.
So, that Agenda 21 was talking about making worldwide human-free zones. It talked about reducing the population, but I see people everywhere in the community and hear stories of thousands of people who have lived in cities much like the capital.
In 2020, there was 8.1 billion people in the world. Today, by our best estimates, there's less than 1.3 billion. The cities of millions now only hold a few hundred. The recycling program you talked about was one of the ways to reduce the population. In some areas here, if you're born with an illness or a deformity, you're recycled. Recycling's not the grand thing you're taught to believe that it is. We went through some places on our way here that if you were over 35 years old, they would round you up and force you to be recycled. We've seen it happen. We have also seen how people are pushed in these machines alive, turned into mulch as the guards laugh. The mulch is turned into protein paste. What do you think you eat in those tubes that you eat?
So, when did this start? When did it go from warnings to crushing freedoms? You know, I read that pamphlet that you left, and I mean, if that's how it was...
It is how it was. Yeah, there were several things. There was an outbreak of false flags in the late 1990s and 2000s. And the false flag of the Iraq War, which distracted us from the clean victory we should have had in Afghanistan, which turned into a 13-year war and almost bankrupted this country.
2 wars. That's dumb. I mean, even I can understand that.
Yeah. And President Obama, which should have been the president that united this country, became the most polarizing president in the history of the country. 2012 was the last year of elections that we had a limit to 2 terms. An outlook towards the future got better because the opposition to the president knew it would be his last term. Until the 29th Amendment passed, allowing for more than 2 terms.
So is that bad?
Hell, it wouldn't have been. When things started to slowly happen. When a series of mass shootings sparked outrage. The call to disarm Americans started. Finally, in 2020, the outright ban of all weapons except those of which could only fire a single bullet. Government began raising taxes. Began using unmanned planes with rockets, attacking citizens with whom they called terrorists. Not trial. No judge, no jury. Just death.
We'll just let that happen. Why?
The fear of the government not being there to protect them scared a lot of people. The news only talked about crime waves, murders, and corrupt companies, and that the government was there to make sure that you're okay. They even put drugs in the food, to the water, and even released it in the sky, so you could be healthier. All those drugs were later proven to be more harmful than helpful due to the side effects.
But we have medicine in the water now. I don't get sick.
People were living in their 90s back then. I mean, how old is the oldest member of your farming community? Like 65?
I don't know.
There were voices who were speaking out, like your ancestor and a handful of other people. They were labeled conspiracy theorists. But that label undermined the whole movement.
So all that preparation, it went into taking over the government.
Yes. Then it got worse. Because slowly people began listening. That's when the prison camps appeared. At first, there were secret camps where menaces of the government were snatched up in the middle of the night. That's what happened to your ancestor. A few months before that was the engineered bank crash of 2028. wiped out the economy of the country, and in turn hit the rest of the world just as hard. As America goes, so goes the world in regards to the economy, they used to say.
So, the people with the money and the power outside of the government, they did this. How come the government didn't try to stop this? At least the elected officials.
By the time your ancestor was taken, the Constitution went from less than 28 amendments in 240 years to more than 120 amendments in 10 years. The one that really got everyone was the 119th Amendment. Emergency powers during a nuclear crisis. Gave the president ability to suspend the Constitution during a nuclear crisis, or perceived nuclear crisis. Tipping point happened is when President Obama was killed during his 6th inaugural speech. The vice president became president, went after a pro-Constitution group of terrorists from North Dakota. Then the more horrifying thing happened. 3 nuclear bombs were detonated over Kansas, Iowa, and Oklahoma. The radiation killed the entire wheat-growing region of the United States, and there was a worldwide food shortage. At that moment, everything changed. The president ordered troops out on the streets to hunt down who he believed did the act. He also declared that no further elections would be held due to the possibility of future attacks. He signed an order that all states would give up power to the federal troops.
So why do that? Why would the terrorists want to do that to their food?
In 2040, hackers released documents that it was on the president's orders to nuke those fields.
I can't believe that just happened. And nobody but a handful of people stood up.
Governors from Alaska, Hawaii, Montana, and Idaho band together and refused to allow the federal troops to police the streets. Texas was the strongest supporter of states' rights, until they were blindsided by its governor, who ordered the arrest of all military veterans between the ages of 20 and 40 as possible terrorists.
They were losing their rights. How could they be so sheepish? Why didn't the people rise up? Or the military?
Now ask yourself the same question. You know deep down inside how you're living is wrong.
So what happened to the military? Why didn't they stop the president?
After nearly 30 years of wars and conflicts after the economic crisis hit, military spending was nearly gutted. So the UN sent African troops, who were welcomed by most Americans.
So, this is why we have those officials in the Capitol. They're the ones those officers you killed report to. You know, rumor is that they're also the ones that are controlling the recycling plants.
So then you know what I'm telling you is true. Over 300,000 Americans died at the hands of these peacekeepers. Hawaii was being blockaded, and a Navy commander and his vessels defected. When word reached the fleet, Hawaii and Alaska became the largest naval power in the world. Suddenly, people from around the country raced to Hawaii and Alaska to have freedom.
So what do you want me to do? I have a wife. A family on the way. I mean, I'm not my ancestor. Your vision is great. But I think that the world is just too far gone for what we had. Too many billions have died. Look, I just want to live my life in peace.
We need to bring you back to the free states. You'd become the voice of the fight. When the world sees that, they'll find hope.
What about my family? Do they get to come?
No. We can't get them out. I was sent here to only offer you the opportunity to make a difference. My men spent 3 months avoiding checkpoints.
Seeing some of the worst violations of human dignity to get you out and educate you. Think about it.
What do you think?
He's gonna make the right decision. I feel it.
I got higher in the line for you.
Roger. Vendetta, this is hateful. Send it. Roger that. Send Sparrow when mission is successful.
Hey, bro.
Hey.
Listen, I know it's a lot of crap to take in, man, but God wouldn't put anything on your shoulders you couldn't handle.
Yeah. But I have a life here with my wife. They'd kill her if they knew what I was doing. She's with child. I want to watch that child grow.
I can't make the choice for you, man, but I know how you feel. I have a son. He's in Hawaii. Some things are bigger than family.
Doc, why didn't anybody even listen to him? Why did it take so long for action? I mean, what even makes you think that people will listen and wake up now?
I don't know. Maybe it's the right time. Maybe they finally get it.
Yeah.
Think about it, Brian.
Hey, Gunny, can I talk to you for a second?
Of course. Made your decision, right? Not gonna like it, am I?
Well, I am.
Part of being in a free country is allowing people to make their choices. Even if I don't agree with them, I'll respect that.
I want to see my child. I can't just abandon my family. It may look like hell from the outside, but from the inside it's heaven. I do believe in everything that you told me. And, it's just, I'm not the man that I think you thought I was. And, sorry. How did your parents even come up with the name Gunny anyway? I mean, Doc, yeah, sure, I can understand that. He's a healer. He must run deep in his family, but what is a Gunny?
Shut up, dirtbags. Get ready to push.
My rank is Gunny Sergeant. Gunny's short for that. My name is Ryan.
Right. Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Alex.
Doc, get the stuff.
The stuff? Come on.
Yeah, I was afraid you were gonna say that. I've already told you too much. You know where we're going, how we're getting there.
But I thought you respected my choices. Is this your version of freedom? Where I don't obey your orders? You're just gonna drug me and take me away?
It's a drug that'll make you forget the past 2 days. When security forces find you, they'll interrogate you to find out where you were. The second one will boost your memories in 6 months. Fully reconstructed at that point.
Vendetta, Sparrow. Say again. Sparrow.
That's right. A good friend of mine gave that to me. I think he'd be very proud if he knew that you had it.
Day 2A Jones.
Good day to you, neighbor.
Who's this?
I'm Ryan. son of all chose.